Hey, what's going on? This is LB the Realist with Surrealistic Studios, Surreal News, where the real is real. Thank you for joining me on another segment. So we got a quick story time here. I thought this was pretty interesting, so I wanted to go ahead and cover this on my channel. Bill Gates. This is from Market Watch, by the way. Bill Gates. Another crisis looms, and it could be worse than the coronavirus. This was published yesterday. And I'll go ahead and read to you a little bit from the article. It's not too long here. Let's see. That's Microsoft's co-founder Bill Gates urging the government to address climate change with the same sense of urgency as it has to the coronavirus crisis. If the proper measures aren't taken, he wrote in a blog post this week, then the impact could be far more devastating. Gates put the majority rate of coronavirus at about 14 deaths per 100,000. By the end of the century, if the emissions growth rate stays its current course, he said we could be faced with an extra 73 deaths per 100,000 people due to the rising global temperatures. As awful as this pandemic is, climate change could be worse, he wrote. If you want to understand the kind of climate or the kind of damage that climate change will inflict, look at COVID-19 and spread the pain out over a much longer period of time. The loss of life and economic misery caused by this pandemic are on par with what will happen regularly if we do not eliminate the world's carbon emissions. Gates projected that within 20 years, the economic damage from climate change will be as bad as having the equivalent of a COVID-19 pandemic every single decade. The key point is not that climate change will be disastrous, he said. The key point is that if we learn the lessons of COVID-19, we can approach climate change more informed about the consequences of inaction and more prepared to save lives and prevent the worst possible outcome. The current global crisis can inform our response to the next one. We need to let science and innovation lead the way, Gates said, finding the necessary solutions such as cleaner sources of energy and other zero-carbon tools that work not only for the global powers, but for poorer countries poised to get hit the hardest as well. The effects of climate change will almost certainly be harsher than COVID-19's, and they will be the worst for the people who did the least to cause them, Gates continued. The countries that are contributing the most to this problem have a responsibility to try to solve it. Again, this is from Market Watch. And I'll go ahead and leave that in the description so you guys can check it out for yourself. But I thought that was pretty interesting that Bill Gates said that. And he's absolutely right. Why don't we approach the issue of climate change with the same sense, the same level of energy that we approached, the virus? It makes sense when you believe the scientists. But there's a lot of people out here that still don't believe in climate change or global warming, whatever we decide to call it. Temperatures are rising, the water is rising, tensions are rising, just everything is really out of whack, especially in 2020. And what he's saying here is that if we don't get our act together and start approaching climate change with the same level of urgency that we did the virus, we're going to be dealing with an even worse COVID-19 scenario. So I don't know what you guys think about this story. Let me know in the comment section down below. Like this video if you like, share, comment, and subscribe. I wanted to keep this one nice and short. Get back into the rhythm of doing my stories. And let me know what you guys think. Love, peace, and light. Until next time, folks, I'm out.